afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time joining the show, this is the waiting screen. We'll be up and running in about 4 minutes. Thank you for joining early. Thanks for waiting in this beautiful lobby of mine. We're going to have an amazing show tonight. It's Labor Day. I know a lot of you out there are having some fun right now with an extra day off. I'm still in the kitchen cooking, baby. Always pulling over stock charts if I'm not hanging out with the family. We have got a great watch list for you. Just a few minutes left, guys. While you're here, vote on the poll. Leave a chat. Let me know what you're watching. Say hello. We'll be starting in just a few minutes, guys. What's going on, Erica? Good to see you. With less than a minute to go, if you're watching this at a later time, welcome to the show. My name is David Worrell. I'll be your host today. Joseph, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Jimmy Bright's in the building. All right, guys. What do you say we get this thing started, huh? I think it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9 o'clock. Let's do this, baby. Without further ado, welcome back to the show, baby. I've been sitting here pulling over charts over the weekend. We've been talking and discussing some things. I had a long chat with Dan, Bob Dan, the greatest moderator alive. We got a good show for you guys tonight. But the first thing that we need to do is go over the stock market. We're going to go over very quickly just your top three, your Dow, your S&P 500, and the IWM. We're going to make it brief, though. We're going to keep it real short. We're going to go over the economic calendar because you need to know what is coming up because there are some key data that's going to be coming out that will very, very surely influence whether we're going to have a quarter or a half of a basis point cut. I'll give you my thoughts on that cut on the 18th when it happens. But the main thing we are all here for is the watch list. I have a beautiful watch list for you, and I'm very happy to say that we finally are starting to see some setups. the base and trend breakout setups on the daily and the hourly time frame, and we will get to those in less than 30 minutes. We're going to try and keep this short, this Labor Day briefing short for you today. We're going to see if we can do it. But I appreciate everybody being here. I see Erica K is already in here. Dan Bob Dan, the greatest moderator alive. Yosef is in here. Jimmy Bright, he's got the cot in the back. He's always here, baby. And Beef Stewie, I know, good sir, that you are at the camper right now, still tuning in. I appreciate that. That DJ, it's getting dark. I'm sure that DJ by your camper has probably already started doing his mixing, but I appreciate you tuning in, brother. You know I appreciate it. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go over the indices just very, very quickly. I want you guys to understand a few things, okay? You know I'm a big follower in IBD because I love William O'Neill. God rest his soul. This is the book that I want it to be mandatory. Everybody gets. You got over 100 examples right off the rip, so you can understand on a weekly time frame. He likes to use on a weekly time frame what you're looking for momentum. He uses Can Slim, quarterly earnings, annual earnings, market direction, the leaders. He goes. It gives you this huge list, leader, lagger. Gives you this huge list to know, to understand, to get a better feel for the overall market. But still, on top of all of that, you need to have experience. And I've had this experience, and right now, I have to say another thing with IBD is not just a follow-through day, but a power trend. If you get a follow-through day, sometimes follow-through days can break down, but if you get a power trend, that's another key bullish sign that the market's going to continue higher. And I am a firm believer in this because I've been following these guys for a long time. So let me just pull this over so you guys have a better understanding of why I'm so damn bullish, okay? Now, we had this big pull back, this carry trade, the Japanese carry trade, where everybody was flipping the script and it sold off, right? And then we popped right back up. This is the great unwind, if you will, and then it popped right back up. We started heading higher much faster, and sure enough, we came right back up here. We actually had a follow-through day right here, but the more significant follow-through day was right here. This is where all the IBD guys said, yeah, we had a follow-through day, but this is the more significant follow-through day. I was very pleased with myself, my analysis, because I seen it real time, and then once I hit the books, I seen all the top guys out there saying the same things I was. Now, what we are seeing is once that 21-day crosses over exponentially, if we have 10 consecutive days above the 21, above the 50, you'll see that this is considered a power trend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it might not look like that because these are the, I'll just bring it up on here for you so you have a better understanding. So here's the 21 above the 50. This is on the daily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the 10 above the 50, okay? So what we are going to do is we are on a power trend, and I want to show you exactly why I think we're going to continue higher, okay? So here is the base. We are within just a couple of dollars of creating that new all-time high. What's up, Predator? Good to see you in the chat. We are just a kiss away, just $2 away from reaching those new all-time highs. Now, of course, we never want to have a full-blown biasy where kind of like I am right now. So I'm reminding myself, I am bullish. I always say it pays to be positive. We are showing price action in the sense that we don't want to break this 10-day moving average. We pulled off these carry trades, broke up higher, and instead of pulling right back down, we're holding. We're trading sideways. I told you guys when we were here, the best thing that we could have this week would be some sideways action, and that's exactly what we got. Did I know we were going to have sideways action? No. I just said that if we do get sideways action, that's going to be amazing price action for the overall market, and here we are, sideways action. It literally just had inside days. This is beautiful for the overall market. Now the market has ingested this data. We have a better understanding that we are going to cut 1/4 of a basis point in September on the 18th. And now that the overall market has calmed down from the Japanese carry trade, I think we can see more sustaining buying power. now that we are now on a power trend, meaning we have these moving averages that are now all lined up, because if you ever see these bull runs after they come back up and they line back up 10 over the 21, 21 over the 50, we continue to the north side. That's exactly what we did the last bull run and the bull run before that and the bull run before that and yada, yada, yada. Well, look at this, guys. The 10's above the 21 is above the 50, and it's been there for more than 10 days. Now, if we can continue higher after this, I think breaking this base would be beautiful, but of course, breaking all-time highs would be even better. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen there, but I am definitely risk on in this situation, and that is why we have a beautiful stock list that I'm excited to show to you. So please hit that like and subscribe button, because we are going to bring it to you all for guess how much? Guess how much? $0.00. If you want to, click the link tree in the more description down below. You can download this by clicking on the trading view button right there. Bada bing, bada boom. You'll be making money soon. Download that. It's absolutely free to use. But if you download the essential plan, I get a little kickback. I make a little money from that. And that is the only way I make money. I don't ask for you to send me money. I will never ask for you to send me money or to do anything of those. But if you want to help support the channel, that right now is the only way to do it. Once we get our view time in, which we only need about 2,000 more hours, it'll be a couple more months, we will have memberships and all that good stuff that you can do, but I will never advertise for it or any way. It'll just be there in case you want to, because I have had a few people ask what they can do. And we'll also have merch very, very soon. So some of you guys see me wearing some of the merch earlier. That was from Mama. Mama actually hooked me that. Oh, that was like last year when she got me that, when she was all excited about the channel. But anyway, let's move on to the QQQs. So I asked in the voting up here, if you had to pick one area for outperformance in the market for September, would it be AI tech, like we've seen the past 2 years, cybersecurity, the health, or consumer staples for September? I'm asking you. 0% right now out of 7 votes say consumer staples, even though consumer staples seems to be the defensive stock that everybody wants to run to. Healthcare has been outperforming for the past 2 years. Tech has been outperforming for the past 2 years. Cybersecurity, 57% of you say cybersecurity. And I don't know if you're just going off of what I've been saying, but I truly think that cybersecurity is going to be doing that. So QQQ, you can see we're just getting above that 50-day moving average, but compared to the S&P 500, it is a lagger. Okay, so the tech heavy, the AI play is still kind of looking weak here. Not saying that it's going to fail. It does look like it's coming off of this trend break here, which is a beautiful sign. If we just draw a trend here and we're above a 50-day moving average, this has room to continue, but its moving averages haven't lined back up, where the 10 is over the 21, but they are both below the 50-day moving average as to where the S&P 500. We're all lined up. We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. So we'll see if we can get more continuation, especially at the end of the day on Friday. We got volume for a long weekend ahead. There wasn't much fear in the overall market saying we don't want to put our money to work. It's showing bullish towards the end of that day, knowing we're going to have a longer weekend. With the hedges coming back, I don't know if you guys see my shorts, but with the hedges coming back, I truly believe that the big money is here to come very, very soon. Last but not least, I want to talk about IWM. Now, I do have about 20% of my major portfolio, the one that I give to my financial advisor through Edward Jones. I gave him that so that way he could manage that for me. But I told him I wanted more exposure in the small cap stocks, because I still think, even though after that Japanese carry trade scared a lot of investors out, I think this was very, very important in the fact that we're back up to close to where we were before the Japanese carry trade had happened. I still think the IWM will outperform very soon. I think if we are going to have the great rotation like we started to talk about before the Japanese carry trade, I think that this is going to outperform, So it's starting to get a little choppy here, which generally I would not like, but I think there are a lot of big money, I think, is starting to kind of get their plays ready here, and I think it's getting ready to take off. Now, these aren't buy or sell recommendations at all whatsoever. I could be horribly wrong, and I've been horribly wrong many times before, but these are my thoughts. This is what I think. This is what I plan on doing, or what I am doing currently. Okay, so IWM, we're back up into this area. Now, there's a lot of bears out there. There's a lot of bears out there. I am just going with the rules that I've learned, that I have understand, the ones that I follow, and the main one being with the S&P 500, the SPY, as long as we're above a 21-day moving average, I am risk on. And so I have been risk on since here. A little nervous, a little weary, of course, but now that we have broken all the way through and we've formed this high tight flag, or this base breakout area, this is actually what I'm looking for in a swing trade. Not even an ETF, but this ETF looks strong. Jolene, sweet Jolene's in here. Good to see you. You don't want to see my what? The heart's in the way. You don't want to see my shorts? Don't want to see my shorts. But right here, this looks good. And I like it. And I'm ready to see what's going to happen with IWM as well. So I am risk on. We're going to see what happens with the overall market. Now, we'll just jump right into the economic calendar so that way you guys understand. It looks very, very busy. The biggest things that we want to keep an eye on is the PMI, Producers Manufacturing Index. That can be very volatile. I think the JOLTS, the job openings, can be very volatile. And also the initial jobless claims. If you guys remember, the initial jobless claims is what kind of led the tick into the Japanese carry trade. The initial jobless claims came out, and then the Japanese carry trade came out, and Japan started raising their interest rate when it was just not foreseen at all. Very big surprise. So we need to keep an eye on initial jobless claims, I believe, for Thursday, September 5th. And then, of course, if we look at the CME Fed tool, you will see right here why I keep telling you about the rate cut. So about 70% of the analysts on the 18th of September are thinking a quarter of a rate cut. If we get a 50 basis point rate cut, that's going to be a little less unexpected, a little less expected, excuse me, because we're only at 31%. Now, some of that data could change this, but I don't think the data this week is going to have a huge impact. I think the overall market has now settled on a quarter of a basis point, and it's been that way since the last time Jerome Powell started chit-chattering. It moved around that 60%, and it's been stuck around that 60%, and it hasn't changed very much. Now, the question really is how many basis points do you think we'll get by the end of the year? It looks like in September, we're going to get a quarter. November, we'll get another quarter basis cut. December, it looks like another quarter of a basis point cut. So right now, we're looking at 3 rate cuts and down probably 75%, 0.75 basis points altogether. So we'll see what happens there. But so far, so good. We're still shooting for that 3. They've been talking about that 3 since about 4 months ago. So you know what, Joseph, thank you so much for bringing up RSP. We were looking at RSP almost every single time we did this show, and then I started to get away from it for whatever reason. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Joseph. RSP, if you guys don't know, is the equally weighted S&P 500. And if you're bearish at all and you don't understand how stocks rotate or how some things are more cyclical, you need to look at the RSP. So if we look at the S&P 500 altogether, you'll see here, wow, that's pretty green. You'll see here, this is why we have to look at it equally weighted, because right now, electronic technology and technology services altogether make up the majority of the S&P 500, or not just the majority, just some of the major stocks. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Amazon make up the majority of the overall market. So inside of those are going to move the market easier just by some of your bigger tech stocks leading, right? RSP equally weights everything out, okay? And this shows rotation. So for the longest time, you would have seen this whole run right here being led mainly by tech. And that's why it's not that big of a move, because this whole move here was mainly led by tech, right? Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, and Meta, barely Amazon, but mostly all of those really just drug this market up, you know, and everybody was just, this right here, in my personal opinion, for as long as I've been trading, was the most hated bull run. Now this here, this is what I'm going to consider in my book, if this works out, the great rotation. This is where this was led for so long by tech, and now that we are starting to see the RSP, the equally weighted S&P 500, continue to head higher, this is going to be considered the great rotation. Where is the money going? You know, and we've seen consumer staples, we've seen consumer defensive stocks, excuse me, not just consumer staples, but most of the defensive stocks getting more popular. RSP is starting to head higher, but we want to know where the money is leading, okay? So thank you for looking at that. And we went over the economic calendar. Thursday's our biggest one. One thing I want to do, guys, is look at the sector ETF, and then we're going to jump right into my watch list, and we can go over it. So we already went over the S&P 500. This is mid caps. Mid caps is looking good, getting ready for a breakout, it looks like, but we'll see what happens. Riding that 10-day moving average, 10's above the 21, 21's above the 50. IWM, same damn thing. The QQQs, we already talked about this. The moving averages are not lining up. Bitcoin is trying to hold this area. This, to me, looks like a bottom, okay? And I could go back on the S&P 500 and show you my examples of bottoms. This is looking like a bottom or almost like an inverse head and shoulders here. It could even come back down to this 53,500 area, 53,500 area before it bounces up higher and heads up higher. Of course, I think it needs to break this downtrend, but I do like the look of Bitcoin here. Of course, I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything, but Bitcoin does look like it's going to be gold on crack here very, very soon. So that's my personal thought on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the ETF. So XLB, this is materials. Let's see, trusts, materials, XLB. This is looking good. It looks like it's getting ready to break out right here. Just reached close to a new all-time high. XLK is below a 50-day moving average. That's your technology fund, not looking so hot. XLE, which is energy, just kind of trading sideways, still just chopping around that 50-day moving average. The moving averages are not lined up, so energy is not looking as hot. XOP, which is the oil and gas exploration, looking like garbage below a 200-day moving average. Communication is looking still very, very well, close to those new all-time highs, riding on a 10-day moving average, so communication's still hot. XLU, this is utilities. This utilities was a defensive stock. Now, they always say XLU does really, really well when the overall rates start getting cut, because XLU or utilities, they take out these big loans from the banks to help continue to build their infrastructures. Okay, so usually when rates start to get raised, XLU starts to dissipate, and now that we're talking about cuts, we've seen from way back here, I drew this when we had this breakout here. I had Dan Bob throw together a really good watch list, but we couldn't find any fast movers. You know, looking at something like this, if you really wanted to put some of your capital to work, this would have been pretty slow, only 1.2%, but this was a great move, and it continued much higher. So XLU still looks like it's outperforming. Still look like that is doing very, very well. XLP, what is this? Oh, this is consumer staples. Again, we just talked about consumer staples. It's in the voting section, which nobody voted on consumer staples, which I was very surprised, actually. But consumer staples is definitely outperforming in this overall market. You can see just my trend line here. They're working out very well. We had this trend line as it broke down. It got bought right back up. Simple base getting broken out, creating a sideways, and then a trend that it breaks out even higher, holding a 10-day moving average. Consumer staples does look like it's doing very well. This is health technology, also doing very, very well. Again, another trend line. Broke out, came back, retested this area, and just rip tater chip to the north side. So health is doing really, really well. XLI, which is your industrials, also doing really, really well. We're seeing a lot of these ETFs outperforming. They are doing very, very well. Let's see. This is consumer discretionary. Consumer discretionary is still holding out. It's not downtrending. It's still uptrending. We still have the Japanese carry trade. It's not looking as good as the rest of them that we just talked about, but it's still trying to hold on there. Biotech looks like it's getting ready to explode to the north side. If it can hold this 10-day moving average, it's getting tight. It's kind of looking like the S&P 500 where it pushed up here and it just traded sideways, and it's staying within this range of 102 and $100 even. And if it can just break out through here, I think biotech still has room to run higher. XRT, that's a trust, that's a mutual. So XLF, I would say XLF is still one of the hottest sectors out right now. So XLF is financials. So financials is looking like it's absolutely killing it right now. This one's for me. Let me grab a quick drink. You guys just go ahead and listen to the crowd cheering while I drink my Monster. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if they were cheering because I actually took a breath because I can actually breathe. All I do is talk, but it's okay. We're going to keep on going. XLE. So this is the real estate, guys, and we've been talking about real estate quite a bit. I remember the last time we were talking about, I don't remember who was talking about real estate in the chat, but they called out real estate. You know, I really think real estate's going to take off, and it created this cup, created this handle, and you guys were right. You know, a lot of you guys are in the chat are on top of it, like Joseph bringing up XR or RSP. You know, that's why I absolutely love this community, because I could go back and look at these. I remember a lot of the things that you guys are saying, and a lot of you guys have a lot of intuition, a lot of really great ideas on these ETFs. It's capitalizing on them. We want to be able to capitalize on a lot of these ETFs by finding the right stocks that move faster than these ETFs, because real estate's only moving 1.36%. So if you find a stock that follows that ETF, that moves much faster than the ETF itself, that's what we want. So if you find these stocks, that's why I want you to put them in the Discord. I want to go over them. We need to find the hot sectors. We need to find which way the market's direction. If we can find good annual reports and quarterly earning reports that are coming out on it, and we hit all of these sections, and then if it's a leader rather than a lagger, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Can Slim, right? William O'Neill's Can Slim. I love the IBD investing approach. And if we can find those and then we concentrate our money into those by playing a trend or a base breakout, guess what? We are going to be in those momentum leaders like NVIDIA once was. And I mean, you really could continue to look at NVIDIA, but we're going to see what else we have here. So this is the tech software. So here's software here. And one thing I want to say, because 56% of you are looking at cyber security, I always take a look at hack. What is hack looking like, guys? What is hack looking like? So if we just take this image right here, okay, we'll just take this image. We'll keep this up right here. And right next to it, we'll bring back up, what was it? Let me see here. XLRE. All right. Let me zoom out. Let me see if I can get you guys to see this here. Okay. All right. So here's XLRE. All right. See this? Here's a big cup, and here's the handle, and then it breaks out higher. Here's hack. So hack is a cybersecurity ETF. Here's the big cup. Here's the handle. What do you think's going to happen here, folks? Now, I'm not saying that it's going to. I'm just using examples, the cups, the handles, right? What could happen here? I've been talking about cybersecurity for quite some time here, and I really do think something like this could really, really happen. Joseph, yeah, KRE, thank you for bringing that up. I'm actually going to add KRE right now. So we're going to add hack to something that we'll go over from now on, and KRE. So these are the central banking ETF, which I think is really important. Oops, did I just get rid of that? Let's see, KRE. Yeah, I think we need to keep an eye on KRE just because, and we should have been keeping an eye on this for quite some time. But yeah, this is a beautiful thing here too. This is like, you know, this is the banking. It's not all the financial where, you know, XLF is all the financial. This is the banking itself, which can explain some things. I'm sorry, KRE, the central banking, which can explain some things, but it does look like it's getting ready to break out as well. Now we know that in Bank of America, Warren Buffett sold a lot of his shares, but Guys, when I hear these people selling their shares, I think they're selling for a profit. They're moneying up for a great rotation, and there might be reasons inside that specific bank that he's done that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they're starting to load back up on. But yeah, KRE also nice cup and handle. We're gonna see what happens there. So looking very, very good. So now that we went over the sector watch, and I think there's more that is hot than that is not. I mean, I'd rather just go over and say energy's not looking hot, technology is not looking nearly as hot as everything else, and consumer discretionary is not looking as hot as everything else. But I'm telling you, like consumer staples, healthcare, industrial, utilities, financials, real estate, it's all looking good. Cybersecurity, tech software, it's all looking good, guys. Everything's looking really, really good right now. So unless we get a big smack across the face, technology is really the only thing that's not looking good. So we are starting to see rotation. Rotation is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we're going to go ahead and keep on keeping on. Joseph says he bought in at 54 on KRE. Ooh, did you now? Let's see, 54. Ooh, I like it. I like it. It pulled up, it pulled back, it created a base, and then you bought the base. I didn't know you were a buyer of ETFs, Joseph. I like it. I actually thought about just focusing on ETFs myself, even though they're slower movers. I was wondering if slower movers would help increase my, my willpower to buy and actually hold something. Rather being in a stock that's a little bit more choppy. So best of luck to you, Joseph, and I really hope this thing works out for you as well. I'm just going to mark my charts here. Hopefully I'm not going to jinx you, but I like that base breakout right there, man. That's a really nice buy. You're actually a little bit lower than that. We're not going to jip you out of 12 cents here. We're going to put this on 54. There we go. I don't mind. I'll take a penny from you, but this looks good. This looks good, Joseph. I like it. I like it holding that 10-day moving average as well, and it looks like it's creating a high tight flag right here on the daily. Let's see if we can keep on keeping on, because I want Joseph for that rip, a tater chip, baby. So let's keep on keeping on with that KRE, baby. Okay, guys, I put today's stock watch list. It will be on Thinkorswim, but remember, guys, this is the best charting system that is out there. This is TradingView, and if you want TradingView, take a little peeky gander at my screen while we are here. Vote on this poll. I see we got 11 watching, well, 12 watching now when we only have 11 votes. So you, the person who has joined that has not voted, you need to do that right meow. That's right, I'm a cat. And then, of course, if we look at the likes, we have 8 likes and 12 watching. Wake up, people. It is time to wake up. We need to vote. We need to hit that like. We need to hit that subscribe button, because next up is your watch list. You want the watch list. I know you want the watch list. FBI, open up! They're here. They want the watch list too. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and then, of course, if you click this more button, scroll on down, click the link tree, you'll find my YouTube. Yeah, my YouTube, baby. It's awesome. It's genius, and it's free. Click it, stick it, see you later, bye. We got a whole setup on base and trend breakouts. If you can't accept free, then you can't accept me. Of course, if you want to join Discord, all you need are 2 things. A heart of gold and an open mind. It's that simple. We don't charge you nothing there either. And this is the TradingView link that I was just telling you about. If you want this beautiful charting platform that is behind this screen, use this link. It helps me out a lot. And, you don't have to sign up for the Essential Plan, but if you do, it helps me out. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter, baby. Let's do this. Now, right back to the show. Thank you very much. All right, what do we got here? Erica on 2 devices. I love it. I'm awake. Just hit the like. Thanks, Jolene. About time. Dang, girl. Dang, Jolene. All right, we're up to 10 likes now. I appreciate you guys. You know I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. All right, now we're going to bring up the watch list as promised. Now, this is my watch list. This isn't a playlist. And while I do this real time, I'm going to set these up from highest to lowest. So if I see something that I really like, or if there's something that you want to talk about, or after this watch list, make sure you have your list ready. If there's something you want to for me to go over or for you to articulate on, just put it in the chat section down below. I would love to go over it with you. It doesn't matter what it is. If it follows my criteria, if it's a base or a trend breakout, all you have to do is put the ticker symbol in there. But if it doesn't follow my criteria, or you're not sure if it does or not, kind of explain to me why you think that I should look at it, or why you think that ticker that you're going to put in the chat. Give me an explanation of why. Is it because you like it? Is it because your financial advisor told you to take it? Is it because your grandma likes watching or is still using, Jolene, help me out. What is it? The Pictionary? Pinterest. You want me to look at PINS because you're still using Pinterest and your grandma said it would be a great stock to buy. If that's why, put it in the chat and I'll take a look at that. But in the meantime, if you just throw the ticker in there and it doesn't meet my criteria, I might, womp womp. All right, so take a look at this. I'm going to move this up to one of my top on my list, ACLX. ACLX looks very beautiful. We get a big push up on volume due to earnings, okay? It beat earnings, not by too much, nothing crazy, but we get this big push up on volume. It breaks through all of its moving averages, continues higher, and then pulls back on lighter volume, but nothing, it's not like picture perfect. I'm not gonna put this on like the top of my list, but it's looking good. It's looking good. So I like this pullback, and what I would do is something kind of like this, guys. I would draw this out just like that, okay? Or I might even go look at the hourly. And if I take a little peeky gander at the hourly here, I might set this thing up something more like this, okay? And the alert is at 69.12. If it breaks above that on volume, remember, I use the 5-minute to watch for the volume. If it's showing higher than average volume than the past 2 to 3 days, that is an area where I would want to take that stock. Okay, and so ACLX looks good to me. One question is, what sector is ACLX in? That is a really good question. So ACLX is in the health technology, biotechnology. Okay, now we already talked about biotechnology. Is it hot or is it not? You're darn tootin' it is. Remember what I said? Biotechnology, here's the ETF, XBI, looks like it's getting ready to break out as it continues its uptrend, okay? We got this cup, we got a handle, and it's riding a 10-day moving average. So if ACLX wants to continue higher, just keep in mind it isn't a biotech stock which has inherent risk. The next day they could come out with some bad news or an FDA denial and the thing will head lower. So ACLX is definitely not a top watch, but it's definitely one that we want to keep an eye on because if it breaks out, it could definitely head much, much higher. We have ADMA. You can see it's just trying to hold on to this 10-day moving average. We had a huge push up here. Let me just zoom in on the Daily right here. Big push up, a pullback. Not my favorite type of pullback. When we get a big push up like this, I much rather see something, let me just bring it up, ADMA. I'll show you what I would like to see. So when we get this big push up like this, what I would like to see is a big push up like this, and then it comes and forms something like this. So that way I can draw a trend line more like this, okay? And then maybe a base like this, riding a 10 or a 21-day moving average. Instead, this looks more like it pulled up and it tried to hold, then it pulled back. Now it's having some inside days and it's just struggling to keep above that 10-day moving average. But I just want to take note of this. Its RS rating is 9. Its average daily range is 5.1%. So I like this. The other thing is it's got inherent risk. Why? Because it's also in the biotechnology. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that one, but not my favorite stock. AQST, this is a therapeutic. This will also be in the biotech, but I like the look of this one a little more. Now, I think it needs a couple more inside days. What do I mean by that? Well, this is a little too wide. This is getting better. This is a little too wide. This is getting better. If we can get a couple more days to get tight here on AQST, I think this would be something to really keep an eye on. So let me just draw this out, AQST. So we got this beautiful push up. Not actually, now that I'm talking about it, guys, and I'm looking at this, where's the volume on this push up? I see volume down here on what I would consider a on a candle that should be much, much higher for the volume. Okay, so that's an anomaly right there. So I don't really care for this stock now that I'm looking at it. This structure looks fine, but according to the volume down here, it's how'd it get up here? It got up here on no volume. I much rather see big volume and a pullback. So I'm just gonna kind of like leave this one in the air. But I'm glad we went over this one with you because this could have been like I don't know, one that I would have taken and then did the volume analysis on it, and I wouldn't have been so happy. Plus, if we look to the left, Jolene, look at this. We have an issue here. We have all this volume and a lot of people trapped up here. So this is probably only going to move up, a couple of dollars and then probably get completely crapped on. So you know what? I'm going to leave this on here just to keep an eye on it, but it's not my favorite stock now. So I'm glad we went over that together. We have ASPN. You can see it came back up to its all-time highs and then kind of came back down here. What I like about it, though, is it pushed up on volume. Here's the big volume right here. Push up on volume, a pullback, and every time it's ran into this, it's sold off, but now it's trying to hold its 10-day moving average. So if we just draw a simple trend line like so, and we see a good amount of volume come in, breaking through this trend line right here, where I will set an alert at 29.33. So if it can break through here, maybe even break through the 29.50 area on volume on the 5-minute time frame, I want to know about it because I think this thing could definitely head higher as well. So ASPN on that one. Let's take a look at ASPN on the greatest platform ever created. ASPN, we take a look, it is in the industrial specialties. And if you guys remember, we went over industrials. What is industrials doing? XLI is your industrials ETF, and you can see it is doing very, very well in this market right now. Okay, so when we look at ASPN, we know that it is in a hot sector. We have volume on the push-up due to good earnings. We have a double beat, a surprise on its earnings and a surprise on its revenue. It's doing very, very well in that aspect. And now it's creating a trend line, or you could also consider this kind of a cup and handle. I don't like that V-shaped bottom, but because of that Japanese carry trade, a lot of things are looking more like a V-shaped bottom. So we'll see. Does this want to break out? Does this want to head higher? I think that it definitely has potential or has a chance to. So we'll see what happens there. We have BLND. So this is looking a little choppy up here at the top. I just like the structure because we get this huge push up, right? So we had earnings here. It looks like it didn't do nearly as well, but maybe I'm assuming, it got a good future outlook on this. Yeah, all those bag holders, Jolene, exactly. I need to catch up on chat, it looks like. Dan Bob says, I have a feeling. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Erica says NVIDIA because I want my money back. We will definitely look at NVIDIA. I actually have a trade in NVIDIA. I have a small 100 shares of NVIDIA. The thing is, we'll go over NVIDIA here. We'll go over NVIDIA right now, actually. How about that? Well, it's fresh in my head. So what was great about NVIDIA is we called this bounce out. We called this bounce in NVIDIA, and it worked out great if you were just looking for a day trade, right? So we seen this, and if you guys were with me when we were watching the earnings take place, by the end of the night, we were talking about in Discord, and I talked about it. We made, I don't know, $300-400 on this bounce. When it came down here, right here, I said this area right here, if we look at the daily, check this out. This red line, this was drawn out a long time ago. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, I could keep counting, guys. This area of 117-ish, between 115 and 118, as I said in the YouTube short, is a very, very strong area of support. I'll tell you this, if it breaks this area of support, this thing's going to head down much, much faster. And that is why 115 is my stop loss on this. Okay, I took a trade down here and made a little bit of money, and it came back when we were here on earnings, and it came down here really quick. I actually bought this as it got as it soaked right back up, and I exited most of my trade. We made about $300 or $400 on that pop. And then when it came back down here by the end of the night, I bought another 25 shares. The next morning, it bounced, it gapped right back up. We made a little bit of money. It came right back down. We bought a little bit more down here. Dan, Bob, and I remember that. And it came back up. It ended up stopping me out. I didn't make any money on that. But by the end of that night, because we have 3 new higher lows on the hourly, I actually bought another 100 shares by the end of the day. So we're going to see what happens. These aren't buy or sell recommendations by any chance, but I will say this. If we look at it on the daily, I don't care for this. Okay. I don't care for this. Even if we drew a simple trend line here, it still has proving to do. It's below its moving averages right now. The only reason why I like this trade is because this area of we'll just call it 116. Okay. This area of 116 is such a very important area for NVIDIA. I really do think it can bounce. And I'll tell you this, if I'm wrong, I'm going to exit the trade and I'm going to take a few $100 loss, okay? But I promise you this, if it breaks that, it's going to head lower much faster. I think it can easily go down to $100. Easily go down to $100 if it breaks that area. So just keep that in mind. That is a huge inflection point for NVIDIA. But we called this out. We called this bounce out. This is a huge area of support. It was supported. We made money off of it during the earnings. We made money on it the next day, and then we broke even the next day after that because it didn't want to break out. But yeah, I can see this on the short term here if it breaks out of this pennant, but this is considered a bearish pennant. So do keep that in mind, folks. This is a bearish pennant. If it wants to hold this area for support, though, then we're going to head higher. If it wants to break this area, we're going to head lower much faster. All right, so back to BLND. Let's go back to BLND, please. BLND. All right, so BLND, I just like this on the daily. I like the structure, but not so much. If it can hold this 21-day moving average and get much, much tighter, I would need to see much, much tighter. This is still way too loose and choppy. So not my favorite. I'm actually just going to take this off my watch list so I don't bother myself with it. But now we're getting into some juicy stuff. So pay attention here, guys. BVS, Bioventus. It already says biotech in its name, so we need to be careful. Biotechs always have that extra risk in there, but I really like the way this is setting up. We get a big push up here. I don't know where my volume went to on this. Does it not have volume? Apparently, apparently it doesn't want to give me my daily volume on this. Predator, you can figure that out. Sometimes I click on stocks and on my daily, they don't have it. I wonder if it'll show me. Yeah, it's just not showing my daily volume on this for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I've seen a few stocks like this, but either way, guys, we get this big push up, okay? And now it's just trying to trade sideways. If it wants to break above this $10, I think it's a psychological and technical area. I'd much rather see it not break above this for at least another 2 or 3 days. Let the 10-day moving average catch up. But if it breaks through on volume on the 5-minute time frame, I think we can head much, much higher. But not buy or sell recommendations at all, but that's just what I'm looking at. Of course, we have Kava. Now, I think it was that you, Erica, that was telling me about the insider trading? It was either you or Sandra. One of you beautiful, beautiful ladies was telling me about Kava and that insider trading. I don't think I recognized you at the time, but I thought it was very, very important because it was a piece of information that was not understood by me earlier until that person brought this up. But Kava had some insider trading right here in August. Now it is September. Even with that insider trading, if we get a beautiful trend or base break here, that was you, Erica. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's again, guys. You're gonna hear me say this 1,000 times. This is why I love this community, because I cannot possibly. One person cannot possibly know every single thing that's going on in the market. Of course, I like to think that I know every single thing that's going on in the market, but I will be the first to tell you that, I gather a lot of my information from you guys as well as the rest of the news, right? I only can read so much. I only can keep up on so much. So when you guys give me that data, that news now, that is amazing. And that's what's beautiful about being a part of a community, because when you're alone and you're trying to learn this by yourself, you don't understand a lot of the things. So it takes a community to help you grow. What's going on, Roberto Tainch, what's going on, brother? It's good to see you in here, man. It's good to see you for sure. So I like Kava. I'm still liking Kava. Of course, I drew this purple line here. I told you guys when this came out, I said, look, I'm going to regret not taking this. I seen the volume come in. The volume was absolutely immense for Kava. I watched it come in on the 5-minute. You know, I didn't want to take it because it was the same day that we were having the Jackson Hole speech for Papa Powell. And I didn't want to be a part of it. And here I am wishing I did, because even if taking half by the end of the day would have made a lot of money, probably about $1,000 here. And then I would have stopped out at break even on this part, and I'd just be sitting here watching. Now, if it can create this trend and have a base breakout, I would be fine with that. This isn't the cleanest looking trend, but you know, regardless, it is a trend, and I've been dying to get into some Kava for quite some time. If you guys have been with me for any amount of time, I've been talking about Kava. I haven't ate at Kava when I was in New York. I should have, but I did not. So pictures to come. CDNA. Now, this is a structure I would like to stand behind. Let me just go ahead and draw this out for you right here. This is a beautiful structure. We get a big push up on volume, and it's already trending to the north side. You can see this is its second leg now. So here's your first leg right here, holding a 30-day moving average. Check this out. 30-day moving average being held. And then when it breaks out, look how tight this thing gets. It gets very, very tight at this base and trend. So it breaks its trend, and then it gets really, really tight on that base. So this was a double whammy, a trend break and a base breakout, and it does it on volume, folks. And then look, another basing platform, a base on top of a base, if you will. And those, as you are learning, are very, very powerful. But there was earnings, and earnings ruins everything. But earnings came out, and now that earnings is past us, it pushed us up on higher volume, and now is creating a trend, trying to hold this 10-day moving average. If it wants to hold that 10-day moving average, this is a fast mover of an average daily range of 7.8%. And I'm sure its relative strength compared to the S&P 500 is much higher. We can go ahead and take a look at CDNA over here. And sure enough, 99. It doesn't get any higher than that, folks. So CDNA, I'm going to go ahead and move this up onto one of the top stocks. We're going to go through this a little bit quicker. We have COMP. You can see I would like to see a couple more inside days creating new higher lows here off of the 10-day moving average. But you can see like something like this, you know, it created this trend line right here, broke above it on volume. If you were watching this and you seen this volume, this would have been a nice one to take. Even though it didn't have new higher lows, the volume would have been so immense on the 5-minute, it would have just disrupted the new higher lows, and you would have wanted to take that right there, okay? This was on our watch list, but at the time I wasn't necessarily ready to take something like this. This I'm ready to take, especially being so risk on. We have CSTL. Now, this is a base on top of a base structure. You know I like base on top of bases because it's all about that base, no treble. Yeah, I'm a funny guy. Here's your base right here, okay? And then let me just get rid of some of this junk right here. Oh, hang on. Is this no, so this thing moves 6.5%. So this is a good one. And now right where I have my alert at $30.46, we'll call it 30.50. If it breaks that psychological and technical area, that's going to be really great. I would love to see more basing though. The longer the base, the bigger the boom, okay? Look how long this base is. This is a couple of week base here, and then boom, we move higher. Now if we get a couple of week base here, boom, we can move higher. So I'd like to see this base out a little bit more. This is another bioscience. So be very careful. Those always have bigger inherent risk. Let's see here. Let me catch up on this. BVS, Dan. Hey, Robert. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to Robert. Roberto! Robert said, sorry, I was lurking. I'm just happy you're here, Roberto. You can lurk all you want, brother. He's the guy in the shadows that's like peeking around the corner. Jolene says, Erica, I started watching that for all my stocks now. Thank you. Jolene, yes, stories I saw on TradingView. Yes, you know, TradingView has a great area for news. Sometimes I use this I use this Thinkorswim for news, but I don't like the way it's set up. We're trading view. If you just scroll down here, like this right here, the headlines: Wells Fargo initiates CARE DX at underweight with $28 price target. CARE DX initiates at underweight by Wells Fargo. So it gives you all the news on CDNA. And I know, Jolene, I know you like clicking on these buttons right here, because it brings you up the headlines, the most important parts. So CARE DX is one of my favorites so far. So make sure you have it on yours. This is health technology. So it still has some risk, but it's not like a bio stock, okay? So I like CDNA. I like the way it looks. It's definitely, I moved that one up. CSTL, it is a bio stock. So it has room to grow, sure, but it has more inherent risk. We have FF here, guys. FF has this base. This is Future Fuel Corporation. Let's go ahead and take a look at FF on the greatest charting platform out here. So this is a process industry or chemical specialty. As we know, industry is doing really well right now. What I don't like to see are these big drop-offs, okay? I don't even really need to go in here and figure out what happened. If it's happening, I don't really like it, you know? I don't like seeing these on the daily. Of course, this was the Japanese carry trade, but I just don't like seeing crap like that. Like, it's happened more than once. So, you know, when I see something like that, and, you know, I'm looking at the stock, these big drop-offs like this, I don't want to be a part of something like that, you know? But I do want to have an understanding if this thing breaks out like this. Maybe I take something small in it, but it would be, you know, less share size because of the way it moves. It's just kind of too choppy for me. It's not very clean. So this is definitely not going to be on my top of my watch list, but it's on my watch list. Now we have GCI. I know Beef Stewie brought this up in the background. He was talking to me about GCI. I like this structure so far. I like the way it's moved up on volume right here, but I think it needs some more time to digest. Okay, we get this pullback. Some of this pullback has been on higher than average volume. I'd like to see a little bit more dry up. Maybe it trades sideways and gets really, really tight the next 2 or 3 days for it to be much, much better. Now we also have GDS. I don't know anything about GDS just yet, but I like the way it's starting to turn out. It's starting to form this base here after a huge push up on volume, and now its sideways action is on much, much lower volume. So let's bring GDS over here on the greatest charting platform out there. We know it's technology, service, and data processing service. So that's very interesting because we know that this sector is not the best. It looks like they're gradually raising their guidance as their earnings in the Qs. So we can see that it has some nice financials sitting there on top of it. It is a developing and operational data center in China. Now I know that Michael Burry has been diving deep into a lot of these China stocks. China always comes with some inherent risk because their government can just take over and do whatever the hell they want. You know, they have BABA, they have PDD. These stocks are their like gems, they're babies. And you know, they've had a little bit of turnaround recently, but they're still really beat down. I mean, this BABA thing was crazy because at one time they were up over $313, and now it just continues to get beat down. So when you look at something like this GDS, it's looking good, but at any given time, their their government can just knock this thing down. So just always keep in mind, if it's a China stock, we have to know that it has inherent risk, just like a biotech. We have GDYN. I just marked this thing out. It only moves 4% average daily range, but I like this big cup and this handle here. This isn't the best looking, but if we put this on the weekly, it'll look more like that William O'Neill's type cup. William O'Neill's is more like this for its cup, so I guess it's just too deep. It's too deep of a cup, so I take it back. But it looks good. I like it. If it breaks out from here, this 1430 area, it might be able to head higher. Let's take a look at the greatest charting platform, GDYN. And of course, folks, if you haven't already, we only have a few more stocks and a few more minutes. So if you have a stock that you want me to take a little peeky gander at, let me know. Here is the cup and handle. It does look like a cup, actually. So GDYN. This is a technology service and information service. So GDYN looks like it's doing good. And we're going to run through this. I just want to show you the top watches now. LMB has this beautiful basing top. Go ahead and put that on your watch list. MATV, look at this long basing structure, okay? Now holding a 10-day moving average. I have my alert set at $19. If it breaks above this on volume, I'm going to want to take this. It moves 4.6%. We have OFIX. This isn't my favorite, but I want to be alerted when it gets above that $17. We have Sava. Now, Sava, this thing has hurt many people in the past. You can see here, it's got this big push up, a pullback, push up, pullback. It's starting to ride the 21-day moving average. That's what I like to see. If it can break out on much higher volume, because as of right now, it had a huge push up on volume, and then its pullback was on dried up volume. So if this thing does want to take a hold and start to head higher, I'd like to be a part of it up until it gets up to around $50, because that's looking pretty yucky there. Really even all the way down here at 44. So I would like to take this kind of for like a high of day clear out. So that would be nice, but you know, I would have to really see some good volume coming in for it to be able to take that out. So very sketchy. Sava is definitely not my highest on my watch list, but keep that in mind. PSNL, Dan Bob talked me into this one. Now, generally I would look at this candle here and I would say, no, this thing just chopped everything out. But this thing undercut. If this thing can rally back up, you know, in pre-market, or if it can rally back up, say Tuesday, I would keep an eye on this, okay? Because it did it on lighter volume, and if it wants to rally back up on higher volume, then I might want to be a part of this. All right. So I think if it does, it's cleared out all of the bag holders right here. This is your majority of your bag holders right here at 6.2. It came right up to 6.2, and then it sold off hard. And then it sold all the way down, cleared everybody out down here below this, and then got bought right back up, okay, within this range. So I'm going to say this thing's hanging on, but this thing is like you stubbed your toe, and you don't know whether to carry on or not. I hope after a stub toe you guys keep carrying on. But PSNL has stubbed its toe. We're going to see if it wants to hold out. If it breaks above 585, I'm going to be alerted. So we'll see very, very soon. What is PSNL, Dan Bob? PSNL. So that's health services. Okay, so we know health services, which is XLV, is a hot sector right now. So I like PSNL. We're going to keep a close eye on it. Like I said, Dan Bob got me talked into this one. And I like the psychology behind it. I like the way I walked you through it, because it makes a lot of sense to me now. You know, you clear all your bag holders out, and then you scare them out, and then you scare all your you scare all your shorts out by heading higher and having this breakout, and then you clear out, and then you scare all your longs out by coming down here. And then if it gets soaked back up, maybe we break out, and when everybody's, you know, looking at something else. So that way, you know, the big dogs that are playing this thing from down here, which had a double whammy, because here's our trend, here's your base, and then it breaks out on much higher volume. This was a double whammy. I love the way PSNL looks right here. I mean, this is going to go on smash or pass. Actually, I should probably write that down, PSNL. Actually, you know what? I saved this. I saved this in our study. You know, while we're on here, I'm just going to bring that up because I want to make sure I don't miss this one, actually. And I'll do it in front of you guys, just so you guys have a better understanding. So I use Evernote, and you guys can see this is all my different strategies, all the different things that I keep an eye on. And yeah, PSNL. So I have PSNL. So, you know, all the different base and trend breakouts, I save these. Here's PSNL. I saved this one right here because this was just a beautiful, beautiful spot. And yeah, so PSNL, I'm keeping an eye on this part right here. Dan Bob talked me into it. You know, he influences me. All right, rate SGRY, and then we're gonna get into your tickers and what you guys are watching. So please bear with me, baby. We're going to get on it. We're going to be here, baby. We got this, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Anyway.
Brother,
SGRY, big push up on volume, big pullback on lighter volume, holding a 10-day moving average. If this thing wants to continue to hold, I would like to know when this thing gets above $32. If it does that on higher volume, I'd like to be a part of it, but I much rather see this thing get really, really tight right here. We also have SKE. We have a trend. I'll just draw it out for you so you can have a better understanding. There's your trend. If it gets above this on higher volume, this meaning $7.80, that would be something to keep an eye on. TGTX, same concept as the breakdown and the soak back up. That looks really nice. So if it just goes ahead and does one of these majiggies and bada bing, bada boom, you'll be making money soon. If we can get above this 23.71, I want to be alerted to it because this undercut and rally is very powerful. Now, these are going to be my highest valued ones. We have AIoT. Dan Bob also talked me into this one too. This is what he didn't like, but this is what I do like. Huge undercut and rally, getting tight. If it has this base breakout at $5, I want to be alerted. I like the trend. I like the base, and I like it holding its 21-day moving average. The only thing I don't care for is this kind of volume right here. Then it gets sold off. The volume analysis on this thing looks like absolute garbage, so I don't really care for that. And then last but not least, my number one, my favorite stock that I'm keeping a very close eye on is PRCT. This is a 5-star trade to me. The only thing I want is 2 more days to let this 10-day moving average catch up. If it doesn't give it to me, that's fine. I'm still going to take this trade. This is not a buy or sell recommendation. This is for me. This is for my eyes only. So just keep that in mind, guys. PRCT, I made about $2,000 on PRCT playing the episodic pivot. If you don't know what the episodic pivot is, just go right here, click down here, click more, okay? Click on the link tree, very simple. Click on the YouTube, and you can watch the episodic strategy, the EP, the 500% growth strategy, okay? More than welcome to take a little peeky gander at that, folks. And while you're here, don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let's see. Let's take a little peeky gander what we're up to now. Oh, we got 10 and 11 watching. Ooh, that makes me mad. No, I'm only kidding. I appreciate you guys. Just hit that like, hit that subscribe button. It helps the YouTube algorithm out a lot. This is a 5-star setup in my opinion. Huge push up on volume. And then where's the volume on the pullback? Nobody wants to sell. I sold because the momentum was gone for me. But I want out because now I can buy it at a better price, right? I think this $80 might end up turning into a psychological and technical area for a trade if it wants to break out on the 5-minute time frame on higher volume. You better believe it, baby. I'm going to be in it to win it, and I would love to see this beautiful stock head higher. Now, let's go back to the chat and see what you guys have got in the chat. Let me take a little sip, though. I'm thirsty. This one's for me. Cheers. What do you guys think about the mustache, huh? I think I'm old enough to rock it now. I don't think I look too creepy. All right, let's take a little peeky gander. We got Jolene saying CSTL insiders are selling shares. Oh, are they? Let's see. CSTL. Oh, are they? Well, I don't know if I really want that then. I do like the base on top of base, but if they're selling if insiders are selling by the seashore, if CSTL insiders are selling shares, wow, say that 10 times fast. Whew, Castle insiders selling shares by the seashore. CSTL then also being a bio stock, I probably don't want this one. I'm going to put this up there with FF. Not really caring to keep a peeky gander on that one. What else are we taking a look at here? Can you take a peeky at TLN Utilities? RS 649 or RS is 98 and the average daily range is 6.49. I appreciate that bit of information. Let's take a little peek then. Ooh wee. Okay, so this says Talon Energy Corp, but you were saying it was in the utilities, which let's take a little peek on our greatest platform here, TLN, and let's take a look. So TLN, it says utilities, you're very correct, alternative power generation. I want to read about this. Right now, wow, it looks like they're really breaking their forecast. They have good net margin. Things are looking really well. Talen Energy Corp engages in the operation of power infrastructure. It produces and sells electricity, capacity, and cellular services into wholesale power markets through its subsidiaries. The company was founded on July 2nd, 2014. So if we look at this, it looks really, really good. I like this. Well, I don't care for the volume analysis, but a big push up here, and I like the structure up here at the top. I think it needs a little bit more time, but I do see a trend starting to form. If not a trend, maybe a base at this 153. A little bit more expensive stock than a lot of people like to buy, but it's definitely proving itself. It's been on a constant uptrend for quite some time, and a lot more volume starting to come in now than ever before. So, wow. TLN is definitely going to go on my watch list, because even if I don't find a good spot to buy TLN, I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on. That is ripping. Good find, brother. Really surprised I haven't seen this one before. So yeah, B Stu, I appreciate you bringing that up, brother. Very, very nice. Can someone send me the tickers after, please? Dan Bob, of course, brother. I can send you a screenshot of it. For $1. No, I'm just kidding. For $1 a ticker. Only kidding. I got you, Dan Bob. You're lucky you're the greatest moderator alive. Let's see. The stash equals sings brown chicken, brown cow. Brown chicken, brown cow. I appreciate you, Dan Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator alive, ladies and gentlemen. Now, right before we leave, I just want you to take a little peeky gander at my screen. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you're learning anything, if you appreciate this free content, or anything about this show has entertained you in the slightest bit, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. And then you get to see when I come on each and every day. And then, of course, if you want to have the same trading platform and the same setup, we even teach you how to set up our platform. Click this link tree and click on Trading View. In that Trading View, you can go to my YouTube and you can see exactly how you set this up, where you will have the average daily range right up there on the top. You will have the RS rating right here. It tells you how strong the stock is compared to the overall market. And you will also have the moving averages here in the volume, just like I have it right here. If you want your setup just like mine, click on that link and get your setup for absolutely free. Okay, folks? Now, if you want to join the Discord, you're more than welcome. 2 requirements: a heart of gold and an open mind. That's simple. Join the Discord. We are like family here. I love hanging out with you guys, especially when I have that extra time in the morning. We like to sit back, relax, sip on our coffee or drinks or tea or whatever you got. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is. But I got to say, I hope you guys have an awesome time out there with your families on Labor Day. Catch up on all your work, get your pools closed, make sure the kids are stocked and ready to rock for school. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Remember, on the way out, I like to say my goodbyes, so if you could stick around to the end, I'd appreciate it, so I could say goodbye to you. But we just closed the poll. We had about 14 votes on the poll. If you had to pick one area to outperform the markets in September, 42% of you said cybersecurity. Next up was AI, the tech, the health, and nobody said consumer staples. So it looks like for September, we are looking for cybersecurity, and we are going to be looking very soon into some of the cybersecurity stocks. Like Hacks ETF shows, we are at a new all-time high at 68.12. I think we're going to scream much higher, much faster, especially with AI starting to ramp up. People are going to be looking at cybersecurity very, very soon to see, hey, how did I get hacked? How did that happen? I need some cybersecurity to help protect myself, my family, my bank accounts, all that good stuff. And I think it's coming very soon. So let's keep an eye on the faster moving, relatively strong stocks in cybersecurity, and we will get a list going for each and every one of you. I hope you guys have an awesome night, and stick with me towards the end so I can say my goodbyes. Peace! Jimmy Bright, the brightest Jimmy I have ever known. Thank you, Jimmy. I hope you have a good night too, as well, good sir. Dan, Bob, Dan. Sorry, we did not get to PLTR, but yes, I think that's definitely one to keep on our watch list. I'm going to put it on mine right now. But Dan, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate our long chat that we had yesterday as well. Beef Stewie, I hope you have an awesome time out there at the campground. You are awesome, brother. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. Even though you're out there chilling with your family, you still came to see your second family tonight with us. So thank you for your awesome dedication, and you're very welcome. Yosef, my man, you're always here, brother. I absolutely love the dedication that I am seeing from a lot of you guys. And Yosef, you're one of the many. So thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing your part. Jolene, sweet Jolene, baby. Thank you for joining me tonight, Jolene. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Robert Tainch, thank you so much. And don't ever apologize for lurking, brother. You stay in the backgrounds and you pop in when you need to. Erica on 2 units again tonight. Erica, thank you so much. I really appreciate your dedication. Erica, do I know you or did you just find me? I mean, I am so blessed to have so many people out there dedicated to this channel. So thank you, Erica. I much really appreciate you. Who else we got? I don't want to miss nobody here. Let's see. I think that's everybody. Oh, Predator. Yeah, Predator was actually on time, and I almost forgot him. Predator, you're awesome, dude. I hope you guys have an awesome night. Have an awesome Labor Day, guys. And we will see you guys on Tuesday, right? I think it's Tuesday. Let me just double check the schedule really quick. I think it is Tuesday is our next meeting. Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right. Bam. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. David Worrell, YouTube Live, the Market Brief Interactive. We'll have a cool brief, something to kind of train your eye, or we'll go over some questionnaires. Michael Anthony, isn't markets overbought? I don't think so. We're riding a 10-day moving average, brother. That is up to you. You let me know. I think we're in a power trend, Michael. But you showed up late. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Hope you have a good night. And Michael, join the Discord. We can have a long chat. Talk to you. Peace, guys.